I have been working for many years, as it says in the article, in the Women's Press. I've been working for a number of years on helping to bring about a energy transition to renewable energy. And primarily I worked on wind energy, because most of the time in the early days, most of the time when you were talking about renewable energy, wind energy was the most economic. But now, 25 years later, 26 years later, solar is truly closer and closer to being economic. And it's not the only thing out there in terms of sustainable solutions. And so this is what I'm really concerned with, is I work on energy systems, and Windustry is a 501c3 nonprofit. And I've worked through Windustry for a number of years. I'm the founder as well. But now I am working to not only bring about a clean energy transition, but working to bring about an equitable clean energy transition, so that there are more people of color and more diversity in the decision-making process as our new energy systems get built. Right now, I would say it is still a majority of white males. In this, as depressing as that is, it is because a lot of the energy systems that our society uses are capital intensive, and for some reason, bigger is better in the United States. And even though all of this stuff is scalable and small, works in many places, and works very well when it's designed for community scale things, a lot of times it's large centralized energy systems in place, or energy generation, or energy distribution, or transmission lines, or whatever. So I am working with, one of my passions is to work with Native Son. It's a brand new nonprofit. Native Son Community Power Development is really almost exactly the same thing that Windustry has been doing for 25 years, only Native Son is native led. And I work with a fellow, Bob Blake. He's from the Red Lake Nation up north in northern Minnesota. But we're doing projects. For instance, we just did a big electric vehicle project proposal. We just submitted it, and it was very collaborative with the Standing Rock Native Nation on the border between North and South Dakota. I think there is so much more that Minnesota could be doing, especially with, I'm really preoccupied with the pipeline that somehow is giving, somehow this company from Canada that is pumping the nastiest stuff out of the ground in Canada and can't get a pipeline in Canada. Somehow Minnesota has decided that it's okay to give this, Enbridge a pipeline. And in many respects, there's so much more that Minnesotans can be doing in the legislature in terms of policy, but also just in terms of their own community. Anybody downstream um, the headwaters of the Mississippi should be outraged that they're, putting a pipeline underneath the headwaters of the Mississippi, and the water systems, the watershed up there is at risk, and the wild rice, I think a lot of this was based on something procedural called certificate of need. And it's like, whose need was this? Whose need? I think we need to look at that whole process of certificate of need. If this is not a need for the people of the region, then why do they get priority? And thinking about our common things, the things in our commons, which are, water and our rivers, our lakes, our watersheds, our land. We have an expert here on land issues, and also the air. All of these things are in common for the people who live in this region, and they need to be protected. I've been involved with this process for 25, 26 years. I am still flummoxed by some of these decisions.